We don't know, do we?
Say again?
That's quite insulting. We're not. Right, okay, let's move on with the public session, because otherwise somebody will complain we've wasted the public session, and we're already 5 minutes into it.
No, we're not, because we haven't started it yet. You're having a discussion about videoing.
Yes, that was part of the...
It can't
No,
be part
No,
of
it's
the
not.
session.
Absolutely not.
Do you want to waste another 5 minutes arguing about whether the 5 minutes was 5 minutes, or do you want to move on?
Move on. Move on.
Good plan.
I started the public session asking if anybody was videoing.
But that shouldn't be part of the public
No,
session.
of course it should. Move on.
Anyway, hands up. Hands up.
Right.
Hands up for what?
The public session's already been going 5 minutes.
That was it? All right then.
No, it hasn't.
Right, go ahead, Mr. Bennett.
I don't mind being videoed or audio recorded.
Well,
Thank
No,
you.
because we've just agreed you're not going to start videoing until the meeting
Whoa, don't
starts.
shout at me, mate. Calm down a bit. I'll ask that shouting. Merrill?
he can video.
That's a mirror, is it?
No, hang on.
I thought we
Get
just
back to
agreed
order.
that.
I thought we just agreed that if, because he said he's happy, he's not going to be videoing the people here, he's just going to be videoing him while he's
No,
speaking.
because
You don't want to be recorded.
it's difficult to
Hey, excuse
discriminate.
me.
Yes,
How can you do half a conversation then?
yes.
Because that's what you're asking to do. You're asking to video only your part. Not
No.
some
No,
part.
no,
no.
It's half a conversation.
I think until somebody provides legal advice that says you're allowed to video people who don't want to be videoed and record people who don't want to be recorded, I thought we had just agreed that we wouldn't record the public session so that the people who don't want to be recorded aren't recorded, but you're perfectly welcome to do as many copies of the actual meeting, because we're in the public, if we're councillors, we can be filmed.
I don't agree with it because you only get half a
No,
conversation.
but we can only go with the law. There are laws I don't agree with, but we can't really.
In the
talk
council,
about.
in the
I'm not
council,
wrong in that case.
excuse me, in the council session, you're not speaking unless you've been invited to. Okay.
I did originally put my hand up.
The public session is for you to ask questions. We don't necessarily have to answer the questions at that time. They can be written down and addressed later.
Just a quick one, sir. Can I just ask why this gentleman's asked this lady and not the chair if she could video?
I don't know.
I'm sorry, I thought the chair had this.
Yeah, I appreciate what you're asking. I don't know what they've agreed between themselves prior to the meeting, so yeah. Can you enlighten why?
No.
Okay.
Is that the public session?
Right.
Well, I haven't
Any
started.
questions
Yeah,
in the public
I haven't
session?
started
Yes,
yet.
yes, go.
Mr. Chairman, I've got a question. I've sat here for several months now. I haven't put it in or tried to interfere with it, but I do have a few questions that I'd like to ask. Some of them are maybe a bit of a statement. Some of it is a question. I've observed what's been going on. I have listened to Councillor Cunliffe and some of the public. They seem to be targeting 3 parish councillors, but not questioning Mrs. Cunliffe. So-
Mr. Campion, can I just interrupt? I will have to limit you in time because of normally we only allow 2, 3 minutes for the questions. So if I could, thank you.
Okay, straight to the question then. Now, 3 parish councils have declared that they have no interest in shooting. They're not affiliated to any shooting club. Also, you should declare a prejudicial interest. If you have an interest against something or a person or an application, whatever, you have to declare a prejudicial interest, and you should step down just the same as if you've got an interest in it. Councillor Cunliffe hasn't done that. She clearly has a prejudicial interest. She organises 2 or 3 sites that are actively asking for people to oppose the shooting, and other activities on the beach. Also to report anything misdemeanour on the beach. She should declare an interest under the prejudicial rule. Will you do that now?
It's not, it's a,
No, I'm speaking. We'll listen to you in a minute. I'm asking the
it's
question.
not a prejudicial view, it's a view.
No.
No, we've just
Do you
had a
want-
look.
do
Can I
you-
ask,
Are you part of the group that's organising a protest against shooting on the foreshore?
protest? No.
You're not in the Swish group.
Oh, I'm in the Swish group.
There you go. Right. You're going to declare a prejudicial interest.
No, I've listened to the arguments. It's like anything to do with, say, road safety. I either have an issue whether
How
they're
come-
speeding or not. That's a view,
What
not a
road
prejudicial
safety is there
interest.
on the foreshore?
No,
Shoot.
my issue is not with wildfowling, it's been with the activities of certain members of the wildfowling club. And I've said that all along.
No.
So you're quite happy for wildfowling to carry on as normal?
If it was done properly, I would not have, I wouldn't like it, but I wouldn't object to it. It is the failure of the wildfowling club to control its members, certain members who just seem to be able to do what they want.
At the last meeting, you expressed totally against it.
No, I said I was against it for those reasons, because
You
they are
said it
not
was like
following.
badger baiting or bear baiting.
It
and
is.
I think there's a big difference between that.
I said I don't like it. I don't like it. I've got no
But it's
problem saying I
perfectly
don't
legal,
like
isn't
it.
I don't, you can't compare it with bear baiting, it's ridiculous.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Campion.
Thank you. Right. So she isn't going to declare a prejudicial interest. Fair enough. That's up to her. Now, I was asked to give advice
That's the
about
2
the new
minutes,
lease
isn't
that
it?
we was agreeing on the foreshore. I attended a meeting down the Haven with two county council representatives.
Can I ask if you bring that up with, when we come to that one on the agenda?
Up to you.
Okay.
What's it for?
Okay.
Okay.
Is that right? Just to save time, using up the time on this.
Okay, right. The lease was agreed some 40 years ago when I was on the parish council. This lease was taken.
This is
to
going on
ensure
longer than
Saltfleet-
the allotted time for each person.
Yeah.
It's stopping everyone else having their...
If you
Okay.
don't keep interrupting me, I shall get on with it. Okay?
That promise.
Yeah, one more minute, John.
One more minute. This lease was taken some 40 years ago. I was part of the parish council that negotiated it. It was to ensure that Saltfleet always enjoyed access to the foreshore, along with all traditional activities, some of which have been in place for centuries. This situation is reflected in Mablethorpe, Sutton, Ingermells, even Cleethorpes, where local councils run their foreshore, which is what we did as a parish council, and that's why we took the lease. This must be a priority for Saltfleet, to keep control of the foreshore. Spending too much time arguing about against things, instead of being positive and getting on with the lease.
Okay, thank you.
Is that all?
Yes, thank you. Sorry.
Really?
Yes, Mr.
Yeah, I've been asked to read a statement by some parishioners who would rather not speak at the meeting. I'll try and do it in the 3 minutes. I know I'll be finished then anyway. Whilst we believe that some councillors do try to represent the views of parishioners to the best of their abilities, we believe there have been issues that parishioners have raised questions about which still require answering. The Freedom of Information requests that were submitted were the last resort but felt needed due to a lack of transparency and clarity. Apart from concerns being raised by parishioners which forced the issue, we've yet to hear in all time mentioned any official statement or apology from the chair for the financial issues that have been uncovered, and perhaps councils are trying to save face rather than be transparent. Most people here will be aware that there's an election in early May, so there may or may not be new councillors in post after that election, so we think it's only fair, open and honest that anyone thinking of standing knows what they may be walking into. We know it was raised in December meeting the failure to submit legally binding audit reports cost the parish some £900. At the last couple of meetings we talked about being open and honest. The last month the AGAR was finished, but we were told if we want to see it it's going to cost £20. I'm not sure how open and honest that is, especially since 21-22 version is online and
I'm
available.
sorry, no, it's available to everybody. It's published publicly.
You said last month it cost me £20 to
No,
see it.
if you want a hard copy.
No, yeah.
If you want a hard copy, but a digital copy is available to
Yeah.
anybody at any time.
I'll just keep going, guy, if I can. Cause I'm
Yeah,
on
yeah,
that
yeah,
track.
carry on then.
Yeah. Obviously, it was admitted in December there's been some financial mismanagement. It might be classed as fraudulent behaviour. Did you report it to the police? If not, why not? At the same meeting, the chair admitted that there's an HMRC investigation. Has that been concluded? What's the outcome? Is there a financial penalty? We know checks were not presented before, and that's come up in the documents that we've seen in the minutes. So there's a probability that public liability insurance might not have been bought, which is why you probably can't raise it on some of the freedom of information requests. It was mentioned in a written reply to me on the 21st of February that Councillor Williams is portfolio holder for the wildfire situation and negotiating with the legal side of things. We might have missed it, but in the standing orders it doesn't allow you to have a portfolio order. It allows you to have a subcommittee, which by definition is more than one person. So we would suggest that one person can't make those decisions, and perhaps any of those decisions are now null and void. On a more personal note, you breached my personal data by sharing information to a person who's not on this council. When I queried that, I was told to take it up with the councillor involved. But does the person you shared it to and you've sent it to his work's email address have power of attorney for that councillor to be able to receive those legal documents? Obviously, I've had to report that to the information commissioners to them to see what's what. Last bit. So, if existing councillors decide to stand again in the forthcoming election, why should members of this parish lend them their vote for another term in office? This excludes councillors Merrill Cunliffe and Keith Warsap, who were co-opted onto the council after these financial incidents took place. We would have more respect for councillors if they put their hands up, admitted a serious financial issue had been discovered during their term of office and apologised instead of trying to keep things quiet. What else should the parishioners know about? You have many chances over recent months to admit that issues have been discovered rather than being forced to do so by parishioners asking questions and submitting freedom of information requests.
Right, well, I can take most of that.
I'm sat with my mouth.
I was also co-opted on after those events, and I wasn't a councillor at the time when these events happened. I also made a full and forthright apology on behalf of the council at a meeting that you were present at, I remember. So all of that we have dealt with. It wasn't reported to the police at the time because there's been no financial loss to the council and no evidence of deliberate fraud or malpractice, and the thought was that the whole lot's gone to HMRC anyway. HMRC are experts in recovering tax, and they have very deep pockets and will make prosecutions when the police won't, and the police are obviously have to do the CPS level of public good, if you will, yeah. Whereas HMRC don't. HMRC will prosecute absolutely every single one. So that was why it was voted on at council, and it was voted not to contact the police because it was already in the hands of HMRC and to await the outcome from them. Okay. The public liability insurance, we have had public liability insurance every single year that I've been involved. It is a statutory requirement. Obviously the renewal comes through in good time. We do re-quote it each year. The reason why this year's wasn't available was because the last clerk had it at her house and has forgotten to pass it on with the other documents. So we've only actually got that document about 2 weeks ago, about a fortnight ago, that she found a load of information she'd forgotten to give us. And one of those things was this year's insurance. It was with other stuff that she'd mixed up.
Can I ask on that why you haven't replied to the FOI then asking for 7 insurance certificates? Not all the the details with it, just the certificates. Well, just while you were on insurance, saying you actually had it.
Videoing, did we say in the public
No,
we
not in the
weren't
public,
doing
no,
that?
you can't video in the public
She's
session. We
videoing.
agree with that.
Yes, she's
Please
videoing.
delete
She's
that.
videoing.